Hi everyone, welcome to World of Tanks with stewiejp. I'm Stewie and this is a threesome featuring 3 of the super heavies in World of Tanks. This first replay sent to me by Somonsia 12 from PBT clan, and he's running around in his Type 5 heavy, probably the newest super heavy in the game, I dare say, the big Japanese heavy tank. Unless you want to call the new VK72 a super heavy, I'm not really sure. In this game, it's an encounter game, and he's on Ruinberg, and he wants to use this big heavy tank as much as he can. He looks towards the enemy tanks, doesn't shoot because of course the gun not known for its accuracy, but he's already blocked 1400 hit points, make that 2320 hit points. Fires clutch towards some light tanks and a T30 down there, blocking an absolute shitload of damage. Over 3000 damage blocked. Is he on a mission? He's not on a mission. That would be a pretty handy start if he was on one of those damage block missions for heavy tanks. Again, fires clutch towards the M48 pattern, doesn't manage to land the shot, but blocks a little bit more damage. He's up to over 3,500 damage blocked. If every one of those shots had penetrated him, he would have been absolutely dead. But of course, Japanese heavy tank, not that easy to penetrate frontally. Some of those shots went through those, blocked 4,700 damage in his Type 5 heavy. He's picked up nearly 1,000 assisted damage spotting those enemy tanks. Hasn't managed to land a shot as yet. Looks like he's not going with the derp gun. 600 damage, 249 penetration for the standard rounds. Premium rounds, 282 penetration. Of course, interestingly, the Type 5 Heavies premium rounds, they're still armor piercing, capped common semi-AP Kai, whatever that means. Standard ones. They both have a very similar description, but one has a little bit more penetration than the other. 1-0 the score now on Ruinberg, as Somonsia 12 in his Type 5 heavy, still looking for the first damaging shot of the game as he moves in towards the city, towards the cap circle. There's a few enemy heavy tanks, M103, the E100 and the E75. Somonsia desperately wants to get his gun into the game, as I reckon he's going to be looking at that E100. That E100 just picked up a kill on the LTTB. Of course, this is from patch 9.17.1. LTTB still a tier 7 at this point of the, you know. There's the E100, E75. Oh, it doesn't manage to land the shot. The E75 shoots. Looks like the E75 put a shot into the T54 E1. 5-3's the score. Hasn't managed any damage yet, but he's blocked 5,500 hit points of shots from the enemy team. He's also picked up 1,129 assisted damage. Holds his fire because that shot on the turret of the E75, probably not confident that it was going to penetrate. He's in a spot which you would imagine is pretty safe from artillery. Bounces the E75 again as he waits for that big Japanese gun to reload. Of course, Type 5 heavy can be challenging to penetrate unless you flank it. The best way to get rid of them is to get to their back and sides, pardon me, and the armour at the back of the sides, obviously a lot more forgiving. From the rear, it can be challenging to penetrate from the rear at times, depending on how it's angled. Or if you had a poke just a little bit earlier, he might have had a beautiful side shot into that E100. But he's sitting back waiting for his opportunity. 5,500 damage blocked, 1,129 assisted damage. His teammates doing a good job getting rid of these enemy tanks. As Somonsia, is that how you say it? Somonsia continues to just creep forward in his big Type 5. He derps the M48, well, he doesn't derp him, but he kills him for 533 hit points, sends the tier 10 American medium tank back to the garage. 8-5 the score, and looks like he's going to start engaging these tanks. Looks like a lot of enemy tanks pushing around that southwestern flank. Fires clutch towards the TVP, doesn't manage to land it. Only done 533 damage so far. He's still got 1385 health. Blocks another 750 hit points of damage from that T30. And looking at the mini-map, they're only up by a tank now. They were up by about 3 tanks. So he's showing great restraint here, not going through. If he does push forward and gets flanked, he's going to be gone for all money on Ruinberg. Looks like the artillery, one of the artilleries is moving, the M53, M55 Tier 9 American artillery on the northeastern side of the map. And gets a nice shot, 602 damage into the side of the TVP. And it looks like the enemy team are going to try and cap this as the E100 holds them back. That E100 on full health. So Imoncia blocks a shot from the big American heavy tank, puts a shot into him in return for 628. That's his damage up to 1763. Nearly 7,000 damage blocked as he comes back here to try and protect. No, he's not going to try and protect the T-54E1. He's content to let him sit at the front all by himself. He's pulling back here. Bounces another shot from the E100. The TVP kills the T-54E1. I think Simoncia might be thinking that dead tank there will be quite handy for me to get a little bit of cover. He continues to pull back. Somebody's going to have to light the cap, and look, it's either going to be Simoncia in the Type 5 or it's going to be a T25 Pilot 1 or an AMX 1390, and they will both probably get cleaned up pretty quickly with the tanks that are there. Bounces one shot from the TVP, bounces a shot from the E100, bounces another shot from the TVP, the 1390, the TVP again. Damage blocked up to nearly 10,000, puts a beautiful derp shot into the top of the AMX 1390. I shouldn't say derp because this isn't the derp gun, this is the normal gun on the Type 5 Heavy. Auto aims at the E100. I'm not sure if that's the best thing to do on something with so much armour, but gets a nice shot. Low roll, 542 damage into the lower plate of the German heavy tank, and now he's bouncing shots like there's no tomorrow, up to 11,000 damage blocked. Bounces the TVP again, chooses to shoot the TVP rather than the E100 because he probably knows that's a guaranteed penetration. Now the E100's got his back. He wants to be very, very careful here. E100 shoots and misses, which is absolutely fantastic, as now Simoncia wants to make sure this next shot penetrates. There's 2 tanks capping. He bounces the German heavy tank that time. There's 2 tanks capping. They've got a minute to get this reset off. He bounces a shot from the rear from the TVP. LTTB bounces another shot from the Russian light tank, puts a shell into the E100. That's his damage up to 4,000 as the AMX 1390 takes advantage of the distracted German heavy tank and picks up the kill. They bump into each other for a bit there. There's the TVP again, bouncing him again. Unfortunately, Simoncia in his Type 5 Heavy doesn't penetrate the checked auto-loading medium tank, but the AMX 1390, having a ripper of a game on 4 kills, picks up the kill on the TVP T5051. Only 41 seconds left on the cap timer now. There's 2 tanks in there, probably a 1390 and maybe the T30. We know that LTB has been killed. I doubt artillery would be on the cap circle. One of them's just left the cap circle, so the timer's gone back up to nearly 3 minutes. Of course, it does take a long time to cap out a game on encounter mode. Zooms in a little bit. He's not sure if he's going to be... There it is. It's the AMX 1390, and he's going to run away if he knows what's good for him. But he knows there's going to be another tank around here somewhere. It's the T30, which picks up the kill on the friendly 1390. And here comes the T30 around the other way. Simoncia up, faced with a dilemma here. Does he offer his rear to the AMX 1390 to go after the T30 or not? Well, there's an easy answer for you. Artie shoots and misses. Simoncia doesn't. He picks up his second kill, blocks a shot from the 1390 and the T30. That shot from the E75 doesn't bounce though, so he probably thinks, I'm going to go after this E75, get myself away from that T30 over there and try and get a gun out of the game, which he does. Evens the scoreboard up at 13 apiece. What looked like a bit of a slow start for Simoncia is really coming back and carrying this game. He's got 3 kills, 4,500 damage, 15,380 damage blocked in the Type 5 Heavy. And now a bit of a standoff here between the T30 and the AMX 1390. He'll be hoping that this M53, M55 has got a shot on that Tier 9 American tank destroyer. You'd think he would from over there. But just to make sure, Simonsia puts a shot into the T30. The T30 shoots back, and I reckon he missed it because it didn't go down as block damage. And there you go. There's the kill on the Tier 9 American tank destroyer. The AMX 1390 doesn't bounce that shot. Second shot just tracks him. Doesn't have a repair kit. Cops some more damage, down to 401. Now he's down to 180, but his gun loads just in time. He picked up the 5th kill of the game, and in the end, rescues that battle on Ruinberg in the Type 5 Heavy, as we have a very quick look at the post-game battle results. It's an Ace Tanker Mastery Badge for Simonsia. Simonsia 12 from PBT Clan. It's an Ace Tanker Mastery Badge. The Hand of God, the Spotter Medal in a Type 5, the Duelist Fighter, Fire for Effect, and Shellproof, because of all that bounced damage, all that damage block. Cool-Headed Medal as well for the Steel Wall, and of course the High Caliber. Only 1 kill away from a top gun. But even after a slow start, he well and truly carried that one. 5,980 hit points of damage. 5 kills, 1,304 base experience, and have a look at that. Damage blocked by armor, 15,620 damage blocked by armor. And that's because he was angling his tank well. And look, of course, let's be honest, the enemy team didn't really know where to shoot him. The game went for 10.5 minutes. He fired 21 shots, 16 hit. 12 did damage, but 12 damaging shots is enough for nearly 6,000 damage. And an Ace Tanker Mastery Badge in the Type 5 Heavy. It cost him a few credits because he doesn't have a premium account, and he did need to fire some premium ammunition, I think, towards the T30 and maybe somebody else during the game, but it was an absolute ripper on Ruinberg in the Type 5 Heavy. As we move on to this second game of this threesome featuring the Super Heavies, and this is from Pugsley from Tim Clan, and he's in the Mighty Mighty Mouse. This time Ron Paris, of course he's top tier because he's in a Tier 10 heavy tank, and Pugsley's in one of the more popular heavy tanks, especially on Clan Wars, the Mouse. You see Clan Wars is filling up with mouses all over the world, with the way that Mouse got some buffs, I think, at the start of the patch 9.17. He's on Paris, and he's going to where the heavy tanks normally do their stuff. Now in this replay, Pugsley is on a mission. He's on the final mission for his heavy tanks. He wants to damage caused, damage received, and damage blocked. Must be at least 14,000 hit points. Now I think that's the final heavy tank mission for the Object 260, which is the last lot of personal missions. So missions I'm on, and if you've got any artillery, I'll give you a heads up. The artillery missions have gotten a lot easier. I got a couple of them the other night. Just all you need to do is stun a few tanks and you've picked up some missions. But anyway, Pugsley in his Mouse, he's on a mission to damage caused, damage received, and damage blocked. Must be at least 14,000. There's a little bit of a start. He's already blocked 740 hit points of damage, and he's looking at that grill, aiming towards it. Looks like he might have tracked the grill. Unfortunately for the missions, assisted damage doesn't count. Bounces a shot from the grill. Sees the VK. Decides to went for the Kranwagen instead, but misses the shot. He's blocked 1,500 damage. Doesn't manage to penetrate the VK100 01P. Of course, the Mouse, now this is a tank I don't yet have. I'm not that far off it. Armor piercing rounds do 490 damage if it pens, 246 penetration, and shooting at a VK100, even though it's a Tier 8, at that angle, it's not gonna pen. 311 penetration for APCR rounds, which are premium. Continues to try and penetrate that VK100 01P. Not so lucky quite yet. Has a look at the Mouse. Bounces a shot from the Mouse. He's damage blocked. up to 2,500, or just under 2,500 now in Paris. Blocks another shot, 2750. Kranwagen, there's a bit of damage done and a little bit more damage blocked. 2-4's the score in Paris. You can see on the mini-map that a lot of tanks in the southern place where the heavy tanks do their bizzo, and this mouse is comfortably bouncing all day, up to 4,000 damage blocked, but he needs to do some more damage. The IS-3 and the IS-7 in a bit of trouble down the bottom as he puts a nice shot into the enemy mouse, but he cops one in return. 4,500 damage blocked, 4,850 damage blocked now, and that's what mouses do well. Shoots and does nothing to the enemy mouse, but he's bouncing shells all day, and at probably about this stage, with 5,500 damage blocked, he probably fancies himself here for maybe picking up this mission. He's done 1,500 damage, 5,570 damage blocked, and of course any damage that you receive goes towards that total as well, and he's already received about roughly 500. Oh, he ricocheted the side of a Kranwagen there, I think. 3-5's the score now in Paris. Pugsley doing well, side scraping and just hanging around where the heavy tanks go. Bounces another shot from the VK45. Picks up the kill on the enemy mouse. That will certainly help his team win this if they're going to win it. 5-all's the score. He's got 1 kill, nearly 2,000 damage done. Damage blocked is nearly 6,000. Total of 8,000, or just under 8,000. Blocks a couple more shots. Look at the armour on this big German heavy tank. Blocks another shot from the Kranwagen. That Kranwagen clearly doesn't know where to shoot the mouse. Looks at the VK. That's easy damage. Causes another 481 damage done. 7,500 damage blocked. He starts to cross the bridge. Looks at the Scorpion. You're never going to not penetrate a shot like that on the premium German tank destroyer. Got a quick mouthful of coffee before I start going dry again. Quick shot into the premium French auto-loading medium tank. Kills the Lorraine 42. He picks up his second kill of the game. He's still blocking damage like there's no tomorrow. Up to nearly 9,000. Puts a nice juicy shell into the Kranwagen. Kranwagen down to 800 hit points. That's the one I'll be focusing on. Looks like he might be tracked there. Scorpion damages Pugsley. Of course, damage received counts in this mission as well. So he's received 1,000 damage. He's blocked 9,000. And he's done nearly 4. I reckon he's just about won this mission. The only thing he needs to do now to complete the mission is to die. If he dies, he'll complete it. Now he's blocked nearly 10,000. He's done over 4,000 and he's received 1,000. So I comfortably say that his mission's now done. Now he needs to make sure that he comprehensively wins this game. He's up to 4,500 damage done now as he's looking at that grill. He wants to get rid of the... Is he going to get rid of the grill? The others, you would think they just don't want to push on him. They're scared of that big gun because they're on low health. So Pugsley does the right thing, picks up his 4th kill. Does take a shot from the Scorpion G, but he won't care about that. He's still got nearly 1,800 hit points up his sleeve. And one more shot into the Scorp G, gives him his 5th kill. And now he can start focusing on that VK45-02A, the Tier 8 German heavy tank, which is down to 68 hit points, the object 140. Picks up the kill there, 12-8 the score now. Only 3 enemy tanks left. The Baby Batchat, who could be absolutely anywhere with that speed. The M4A1 Revloir, who looks like he's having a pretty good game on 3 kills. And the ISU Baby Tank, the ISU Tier 8 Russian tank destroyer. Pugsley on 1,781 hit points, which means he's lost about 1,419, but he's done 4,723 damage. He's blocked 9,600, so he can comfortably say that this mission is well and truly accomplished, and he's not going to try and chase down... Well, the Baby Batchat's been killed now, but he's not going to try and chase down that Rev. He won't get there in time, so he must just sit on the cap and try and draw that ISU 152 to him. Well, he does... Oh, the Rev's right there. The T30 picks up the kill. And this is the part of the game. There's the ISU on the other side of the map. You might as well park it there. Bugsley, you're not going to get there in time. Looks like the T-54 copped a big shot from him, but I'm tipping that T-54 is flanking that ISU 152 quite nicely. And the Object 140, the T-26, E5 and the T-34 are coming to assist as they kill each other, those two tanks. But not a bad win on Paris. Only a second-class mastery badge. When I say only, second-class mastery badge isn't that bad. He certainly did his job in that replay. He certainly did his job. And picked up the mission, the last and final mission for the heavy tanks, the personal missions, the fourth set, doing all that damage blocked, over 14,000 damage blocked, damage done, damage received. Second-class mastery badge, bruiser, duelist, fighter, fire for effect, shell-proof, cool-headed, steel wall, and of course the high caliber for doing at least 20% of the hit points of the enemy team. 4,723 damage done, 9,600 damage blocked. There's your 14,000 without even taking into account the amount of damage that he received. He fired 23 shots, 21 hit, 12 went through, and cost him some credits. Didn't really pay attention to what kind of ammunition he was firing, but I imagine you'd switch to APCR early on after bouncing those shots early on. But a pretty good game on In the Mouse, the big German super heavy on Paris, featuring Pugsley from Tim Clan. As we move on to our third and final replay in this threesome featuring the super heavies. This one is a pretty quick one. This is from patch 9.17. Not 171, 17, and this features Marvinus from Crazy Clan. Marvinus is in his mighty E100 on Mountain Pass. Marvinus on Mountain Pass from Crazy Clan. He fires clutch, because you never know. Every now and then those shots will go through. They don't always. They might only go through 1 in 5 times. It's well worth taking the punt. His team's already lost a tank, probably in that little bowl of death in the centre of the map, but that's not where Marvinus is going to take his E100. He's platooned up with his old mate Ghost Claps, I guess you'd call it. Ghost KLPZ, Ghost Claps. Ghost Claps is in his IS-7. Marvinus from Crazy Clan is in the E100. And they're going down to where the heavy tanks often do their bizzo and have their little duel in the southern part of the map. Enemy team have got 1 extra heavy tank. They've got 3 tier 10 heavy tanks. Marvinus' side has only got 2. The other's tier 8. Marvinus and Ghost Clap showing a little bit of restraint here. Don't want to push too far forward until they know where all these enemy tanks are. You can see on the minimap the FV215B has been spotted on the other side of the map, as has the T11OE5, the American heavy tank. Kranwagen just gets lit there, and of course he knows his shot, because he shot his mate. That not quite the result he was hoping for. Luckily he bounced the IS-7 there as he was trying to shoot towards the Kranwagen. Moving forward, down by 2 tanks. Ghost Tips and Marvinus from Crazy Clan looking to take these tanks on. They've probably been counting the shots there. They think the Kranwagen may be reloading, and so you use that opportunity to put some pain into him. Puts a nice big shot for 633 hit points of damage into the Kranwagen. And of course, even though the Kranwagen's an autoloader, it's not an autoloader which takes forever to reload like the Batchat or some of the French autoloaders. Marvinus puts another shot into the Kranwagen, dodges artillery well. Picks up some assisted damage because he had him tracked, and it looks like his platoon mate shot him. And they're focusing quite well on the Kranwagen, but of course the E100 does have a long reload. He cops a tracking shot from the N4A1 Reveloir, the premium French medium tank. 3-4 the score. Now that Waffle clearly looking at the IS-7, and Arves wants to help the Spic take him out. The Spic should be able to finish him off. He does. That evens the score back up to 4 apiece on Mountain Pass. 1673 damage done. Bit of assisted, a little bit blocked. And he's looking at the top of the M4A1 Reveloir. That'll do him. That'll pick up his second kill in the E100. It's a mighty, mighty tank, the big German E100. And what's left on there? Looks like there's 2 of those new Patriot tanks. They're in a platoon. And there's also a Stritz. One of the Stritzes, as Marvinus puts a shot into one of the Patriots. Ghost Claps picks up the kill on the other Patriot tank, the T26E5. Looks like the Stritzwagen 103 is running away as Ghost picks up the kill on the other Patriot tank. Marvs moves towards this hill just to make sure that artillery piece isn't going to shoot him again. They have received a little bit of attention from enemy artillery. The Batchat auto aims and kills the Scorpion G, the Tier 8 premium German tank destroyer, the one with a really juicy gun. It's good to get a gun like that out of the game. 8-7 the score. Again, looking at the minimap, the Batchat kills his platoon mate. Ghost Claps. 9-8 the score now. Marv's continuing to move forward. He's got to look at the minimap though. Look at the minimap. Those enemy tanks really having a red hot go in the north. And a good bit of teamwork with Marvs and Ghost Clap on that corner. Down here, there was 2 versus 7 in that game. It was just Ghosts, Clap and Marvs up against, there was 2 Patriot tanks. There was the tank destroyer, the Swedish tank destroyer, Kranwagen, Waffenträger Aufpanzer 4, the Tier 9 German tank destroyer, Scorpion G, and I think there was something else. I'm not sure if going towards the enemy base is the right thing to do here. Who knows? The enemy tanks are all up here. By the time he gets up there, it'll be all over. So he might as well go for the cap in the E100. 3 kills, 3,403 hit points of damage, 870 damage blocked, 886 assisted damage. That's probably all he's going to do now. Looks like the enemy tanks are absolutely miles away. And there's 2 capping. Is Marv's going to join him in the cap, or is he going to try and stop that Batchat coming back for resets? I think he's going to try and stop the Batchat coming back for resets, which is probably the right thing to do. You might as well go hunting for a little bit of extra damage. But with the score on 13-9, it's pretty much, the result is a pretty much foregone conclusion. There's the Batchat. Very handy shot to land. Takes him down to 637 health. Pulls back while he reloads. One more shot will be enough to get rid of the auto-loading French tank, but the guy's on cap doing it for him. One more shot, bang, go! There you go. 4 kills for Marvs from Crazy Clan. And now the AMX 1375 giving him a little bit more block damage, and 1375 will be very brave to assault the E100 frontally, so he's not going to, looks like he's just going to let fate happen and get taken out. Not a bad result from Marvs, from Crazy Clan, Marvinus, maybe I should say, on Mountain Pass. It's a first class mastery badge, the fighter and the fire for effect medal. He did plenty of damage. Top scored on damage, 4,390 hit points, 1,018 base experience for his 4 kills. Nobody else hit the 4,000 damage mark in that game. Ghost Tips had a pretty good game too with 3,500, and that Sparpanzer, that Spic, had a ripper too, mainly for only 400 assists. He did, but because he was tier 7, that's why he got the bonus experience. But Marvin's, he fired 11 shots, 10 hit, 8 went through, 4,390 hit points of damage, 1,000 blocked, 1,340 assisted damage, and in a game that only went for just under 7 minutes. Good bit of teamwork in the southern part of Mountain Pass at 2 versus 7. So there's 3 replays featuring 3 super heavies, the Type 5 Japanese, the Mouse and the E100 Germans. Thanks for the replays, lads. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care, and see you all next time.